Hello there, peoples. I am here to review X-Men Apocalypse. So, spoiler, I'm going to give spoilers because that's how I do with all my reviews, movie reviews. So, I'm going to give spoilers. I liked it. I really thought it was a good movie, very solid movie. Where would I rank it along with comic book movies so far this year? I liked it better than Civil War, to be honest. I think some people may crucify me, but I think this movie had much more to it in terms of story. I like the story more in this, to be honest. But, so, I'll give my list so far, what the comic book movie list of what I thought were good in the end of this video so far. But, for right now, I'm going to get into the movie. The story basically starts off, you see Apocalypse basically getting his powers. You see some kind of mutant witch giving him his powers, and then the ceremony gets interrupted by two guards, and there's like a big fight scene, and then she takes them all out, and then the building's like crumbling, and then you basically the body transfer was complete. You see Apocalypse get in his soup, and then it kind of just ends there after everything gets destroyed, and then we cut to basically a mutant fight club. Like, you see Nightcrawler. This is where we're introduced to Nightcrawler, Archangel, Angel, and Jennifer Lawrence, aka Mystique. I thought that scene was pretty cool. That little scene right there was cool. Was a cool way to bring in the new characters. Well, then Mystique breaks Nightcrawler out, and then basically just kind of go off, and then we're introduced to Cyclops in the beginning. I guess he was looking around, and I guess he looked at some Jock's girlfriend or whatever. Then he goes to the bathroom because he felt like his eyes started messing up. And then that's when he freaked out with the heat blast. And then Apocalypse gets broken out. This is where we see Moira in the beginning of the movie, Moira McTaggart. She did good in this. She did alright in this. I guess she was also in X-Men First Class. I forgot she was in that movie. So she goes down to that little, I guess the site where the Apocalypse thing happened in the beginning of the movie. Then this is where I guess people were chanting, different things, chanting I guess the Apocalypse. That's how Apocalypse was brought back. And yeah, so he was brought back. That's what caused a big earthquake. Also, Cyclops goes to the school, so they take him to the school. We see James McAvoy, aka Professor X. I thought he did awesome in this movie. I liked him in the other movie. I liked him in First Class and Days of Future Past. So I liked him in both movies. So also we see Beast. Beast was cool. The guy who played Hank did really good. Also, then we see Jennifer Lawrence again. There's this little mutant underground railroad type thing. I don't exactly remember what it is, but this is where we see Psylocke for the first time, played by Olivia Munn. She did okay. I mean, her fight scenes were alright, but she has barely any lines in this movie. Also, yeah, we see Magneto's family. We find out that Magneto has a family. He's like a welder type. He works in this mine. I don't know what exactly it is, but it's construction type thing. And then later that night, I think later also happens, Magneto had to use his powers because there was a shake, and then the part this thing was gonna fall on this guy. Magneto uses his powers. I guess one of them calls the cops. I don't know if these guys were cops or soldiers, military. I don't. And then his daughter and wife get killed. Then he freaks out, kills these guys in the coolest fashion. He takes the locket and just slits all their throats. It was a very well done scene. Like you could see his emotion. Michael Fassbender is fucking awesome as Magneto. Like I would say he's as good as Ian McKellen's Magneto from the first two movies, but definitely really good. Yeah, I would say he's definitely as good as him. Then this is where we see Apocalypse. Basically, he meets Storm. I don't know the actress who plays her, but she did really good. I liked Storm's look in this movie. I liked the little mohawk she had. So he basically gives her, you know, known gray hair. Then this is basically the rest of the movie. You just basically see Apocalypse basically getting members of his horsemen. Okay, I'm gonna get to this. I have a few gripes with this movie. Definitely the way they handled the horsemen. I I personally would have preferred if they made the horsemen a little bit stronger. I mean, for me, this movie could have been longer, and I felt like there could have been more to this movie. Like, I would have, honestly, we didn't even learn about Angel. He's just kind of there. He has few cool, fight scenes, and he barely has any dialogue. Honestly, the only four horsemen that really mattered was Magneto. I guess a little bit Storm, but she doesn't do much. Like, yeah, the way the horsemen were kind of handled in this movie, they just kind of were just Apocalypse's followers, which you could have done that, but I would have liked to at least explore them. You know, I would have liked to know more about Psylocke. I mean, she looks cool. Like, to me, she's like the most comic book accurate X-Men character in terms of looks, like outfit. Like, that outfit was like straight out of the comics. I will definitely give them that. Then you also were introduced to Jean Grey. I forgot who plays her. I think her name is Sophie Turner. She did okay. Then we see Jubilee for a few seconds. So then that's what we see. Jennifer, Mystique, and Nightcrawler arrive at the school. They're trying to talk to the professor and say that Magneto's in danger. So they go to the school. Then we see Nightcrawler meet up with Jean Grey, Cyclops, I think Jubilee. This is where we see her for a little bit, and then so they go see Return of the Jedi, because I guess this movie's set in '83. That was kind of cool. Little nod to Star Wars right there. Then we see I like the Cerebro scenes. This is the part. Oh yeah, so this is the scene where we see Apocalypse finally picks up Magneto. And, Magneto's about to kill all these, like, men he worked with, and then Apocalypse just steals his skill and just obliterates them all, and then they go to Auschwitz. This scene was really done well, and Magneto basically learns he can, like, pick up metal from the ground. It was, like, just the way he was destroying everything, and he had Apocalypse. I like the way he spoke, some of the big scenes, when he was, like in the trailer. Like, that was done well, Then Magneto, Apocalypse, I think Professor X was using Cerebro to try to contact Magneto. Magneto says, okay, I'm not doing his way anymore. Because he doesn't feel like Professor X's way works, so he joins up with Apocalypse. They attack the school. Well, they don't attack the school. They come to Cerebro, then they kidnap Professor X, then Havoc, who we only see for a little bit, Scott's brother, tries to save him, and then how his chest, he can use a laser from his chest. I guess he blew something up, and his gets blown up, and then that's where Quicksilver comes in. Oh, also earlier in the movie, you saw Quicksilver watching, I think a news thing about Magneto, and then he decides to go visit the school. Then this scene was awesome. Definitely one of my favorite moments of the movie. How he could, like, kind of slow down time. They did that a lot. They did that a little bit in Days of Future Past. They did it a lot better in this movie. I mean, I liked it from Days of Future Past, but it was done so much, like, cooler in this. He was like, he slowed down time and kind of took everybody out of the mansion. It was so fun. There were times it was funny, and I'm gonna say this: the humor in this movie is good. It's definitely done better than in Civil War because it's not over the top. I think that's my problem with MCU movies. They do the humor a little too much, and it's like every fucking scene. It's every scene, and it just gets a little annoying. Like even during fight scenes, it's like they know how to balance it. And so after that, that's when William Stryker comes. He knocks out all the students with, like, I guess it just, I don't know, they were some kind of weapon. It knocks all the mutants out. He kidnaps Quicksilver, Miss McTaggart, Mystique, Quicksilver. I think that was it. Oh, and Beast. So Scott, Jean, and Nightcrawler stow away on the helicopter, and then they basically try to break him out. This is where we see Wolverine. He's Weapon X, because they go to the generator room, and then that's where you see Wolverine's cap, where they keep holding Wolverine. Then Jean releases him, and oh my god, my favorite part of the movie. The Quicksilver scene is definitely a cool scene too, but this was awesome. Wolverine in his full Weapon X getup. Like, that's one thing I wish Last Stand Origins did. One thing I didn't like about Origins, I liked how the Weapon X scene in that movie, but he really didn't have the Weapon X getup. Like in this, he actually had the full getup. Like he had the thing on his head. Like, oh my god, it was done well. And it was a lot more violent. This is probably one of the more violent moments we finally see of Wolverine. This is definitely, like, I can't wait for his solo movie. That's all that scene did. It basically is like, oh god, I can't wait for his solo movie. So basically, he basically breaks out, kills all the guards. Then they basically release, their friends. And then they get a ship. Oh, and then this is where we see Apocalypse. He kidnaps, Professor X. He basically tells Professor X to send a message to everyone, so because how he can basically read through people's minds. So he basically sends them everybody a message, and basically Apocalypse basically wants to. His plan is he wants to destroy the world because I feel like he feels like Earth has got corrupted, so he wants to destroy Earth and rebuild it. So it's a simple plan, and like also what he does, he makes Professor X mind control everybody else. This is a little bit earlier. Mind control people who are working at nuclear missiles, and they basically tells them they release all the missiles into the sky. So they basically get rid of all the countries get rid of their nuclear weapons. This was a cool scene. So, and then Magneto basically starts kind of using his powers and taking all the metal from the ground. So he's basically lifting the ground. This is where we see the X-Men, suit up. Oh yeah, there's a little moment with Wolverine. He kills everybody. Then we see Jean kind of have a little moment with him. He takes like all his captive stuff and then he kind of leaves after that. Then yeah, so they suit up again on a jet. They head over to where, I don't remember where exactly it is, but where I think it was in Egypt. I think it's in Egypt. So they go to Egypt. This is where we see Apocalypse doing his thing. He's about to transfer his body to Professor X because if he gets Professor X's body, he can get Professor X's mind. He can control everybody's minds. He wants to control everybody. So then we see Nightcrawler try to, I think, save the professor, but then Angel attacks him, and then we see a little fight scene with Beast and Psylocke. It was alright, but honestly, I mean, I like that Olivia Munn, did a little bit of fight training in this. It was very obvious, like you could actually see she was a little bit trained. I just didn't like that she really had no lines. She's just kind of there. And then, I think Nightcrawler was able to save him. The jet crashes. This is where Angel dies. Yeah, they were trying to leave, and then the jet crashes, and then Angel just dies, and Psylocke kind of just crashes on the ground, and yeah, she just kind of gets knocked out. Um, so they save the professor. Then Apocalypse gets angry. Quicksilver has a little fight scene with him. This was kind of cool. But fucking Apocalypse breaks his leg. Oh my god, it was kind of brutal. And then Mystique, who disguises herself as Psylocke, tries to fight him. Apocalypse chokes her out, grabs her by the throat. Then the professor tries to have like a little tries to get into Apocalypse's head. Then Apocalypse gets more stronger. Then Magneto finally turns good again. That was done well. Like, uh, yeah, that was cool. And then Jean, she becomes the Phoenix because Professor tells her to basically let go. She becomes the Phoenix. I guess destroys Apocalypse, and then that was cool. I thought that was done well. It was done better than Last Stand, at least. Um, we see, then I guess they go back to the school. Oh yeah, Professor X, during the body transfer, all his hair gets lost and he becomes, the iconic Professor X with bald. That was cool. I thought that was done well. Yeah, then the movie ends. Magneto kind of has a little chat with Charles, and then you see the X-Men train, and that's kind of how the movie ends. Yeah. So now let's get to my gripes. So once I talked about a little bit with the Four Horsemen, they just felt like his just minions. I don't like that. Come on, because in the comics, the Four Horsemen are definitely more than just his henchmen. I would have easily liked Psylocke to explore her a little bit. Storm was alright, I guess. She ends up joining the team in the end. Psylocke just kind of leaves, yeah. Olivia Munn did alright, I guess, but I wanted more from her, because I like Psylocke as a character. But in this, she just looks good and has a little bit of okay fight scenes, but she doesn't really do much else. Like, look-wise, she looks good, and I like the outfit, because it definitely is comic book accurate. But she just didn't do much else. Angel was just there again. Like, at least he did more than he did in X3, but still. He did a lot more in this than he did in X3, at least, but still, he didn't do much. They didn't really explore his character. None of that. The Horsemen are just kind of there. They don't really explore them all that much. Magneto's the only one that really gets out of the Four Horsemen. He's like the only one that really gets the build. Now, Apocalypse. I thought Apocalypse was okay. His plan was okay. His plan at least made sense. Because one thing I don't like about certain villains, they always give them shitty plans. They always give villains shitty plans. I thought his plan was alright in this, because it made sense. He basically he felt like the world was corrupted. But I thought Oscar Isaac did good, but my only gripe, they underpowered him. I don't know if they just didn't want to make him OP, but if you're gonna do Apocalypse, Look-wise, he looked fine, I just didn't feel like they used him to his full potential. That's one of my only really few gripes. I think everything else was fine. I thought the story was good, thought it ended well. Oh, the after credit scene, we see the Essex Corp show up and basically take, like, I guess DNA from Wolverine and Essex. I feel like they're tied. They're gonna be more. I think this is gonna be part of the upcoming Wolverine movie. I think that's what they're showing. They're gonna like tease it. But I mean, yeah, my only gripe was really Apocalypse and the Horsemen, how they were handled. Um, Other than that, I liked everything else really. So now let's get to my rating. I give it an 8.5. So where does it rank along with the other comic book movies that have come out so far. So here's my list. Deadpool is still the best comic book movie this year, in my opinion so far. This is so far. We got, I think, about 2 more comic book movies coming out. Of course, Suicide Squad, which I can't wait for, and then, I think Doctor Strange, so yeah. We got 2 more comic book movies coming out this year, but so far, number 1 is Deadpool. I think Deadpool's just the best movie so far I've seen this year. Batman v Superman, X-Men. So X-Men is the third favorite movie this year so far. Comic book movie this year, and then Civil War. Yes, I liked it more than Civil War. I feel like this movie just had more going on. The story was more consistent. The villain was better. And that's honest. I liked it slightly more. But other than that, guys, so yeah, that was my X-Men Apocalypse review. I definitely advise you go see it, especially if you like the X-Men movies. So yeah, I advise you go see it. Tomorrow, obviously, will be a Raw review, and then sometime I'll do a video on Young Turks, because they fucked up. Other than that, guys, I am gonna sign off here. See you guys tomorrow. Peace.